video tutorial, I am going to be teaching you how to Ollie. The Ollie is the most basic trick in skateboarding, and it is lifting your board off the ground with your 2 feet. Now, usually, for beginners, this looks like magic. Like the first time I saw a skateboarder doing an Ollie, I was baffled. How is he lifting the board with his feet? Well, actually, it's a simple trick of physics and sort of deception. What you do is, you put your back foot, which is also called your popping foot, on the tail. And when you learn how to skateboard for the first time, it's going to feel really awkward having your foot on the tail, but you get used to it. Because when you pop, it has to be a really solid pop. And for many tricks, in fact all of the tricks, the minute you pop, you have to hop off your pop with that same foot. So it'll be something like that. So you really have to get used to it, not only popping with your back foot, but also popping and hopping. And by the way, when the board hits the ground, that's called a pop. And the trick to an Ollie, which I really only figured out a few months after I started skating, is many people on the internet will tell you to Ollie as soon as your back foot hits the ground and jump. But this is completely wrong, because you don't really get as much force as you would normally if you pop harder and waited for your back trucks to leave the ground, because that's when you are at your peak of your pop, and that's when you have to best start doing your tricks. The second part of the Ollie, or step, is a slide. So when you pop and you are off the board, your foot is going to, you're going to turn your ankle slightly and gently brush your foot upward. And because you have popped and you've hopped, your back foot is off the ground. And there's nothing stopping your board from following your foot because it has grip tape on it. And this is a suede material that's very catchy when it rubs against rough objects. So I'll just show you a quick demonstration. When I pop, I'm going to jump off. I'm just going to move my front foot upward. And this is a really good method to practice your Ollie. Just do this. So you Ollie, you pop, you hop off, and then just with your front foot, move it upward. Then you get used to moving your board like that. It's going to sound really bad, it's going to look very bad, but then you're not going to practice in front of an audience. You're only going to show your parents when you land it. So basically, after you've gotten used to sliding, you're going to want to start committing. And when you commit, the term in skateboarding, commitment, is not like committing to a relationship. It's actually staying. It's actually pretty much like a committing to a relationship. You want to stay with your board. So instead of like jumping away after you Ollie, you want to stay above it, centered, so that when your feet hit the bolts, you are centered. So when you Ollie, you want to pop, jump, and then slide. So it's going to look like this. And mine are pretty high actually, but these will come with practice. My first Ollie was somewhere along the lines of that, because after a while you get used to the motion, and it just becomes a natural thing to do. So just keep practicing, have a game. In fact, sometimes when you're new to skateboarding, you'll have this problem. Your bolts should never be completely, your kingpin should never be completely tightened. It has to have some give, because you have to turn. You turn by leaning on your ankles or on your toes. So, if you have loose trucks, which you will, it's going to be hard to balance on your board. So what does help, because now I'm centered slightly, so I know how to Ollie. But for beginners, I suggest, if you're practicing at home on a rainy day, then do it on a carpet. But if not, you can just go outside, look for grass, anywhere will do. Stand, just Ollie like you normally would. That was a complete mistake, but Ollie like you would. It's gonna get harder because the pop is not so strong as off a solid surface, but it will be enough to practice. After you've started learning Ollies, you do Ollies rolling. doing an ollie while you're rolling, it will be completely different because you will be moving. And whenever you're doing a trick while you're moving, balance is a real issue because there are two things that can happen if your balance is off. One is when you lean too far on your tail. This can cause you to fall like backward and fall on your back/head. This can be slightly dangerous. The even worse thing that could happen is you're leaning too far forward and you kind of slip out because your board rolls backward and you fall flat. This can be really dangerous, and I'll be teaching you how to fall in later tutorials.